All right, how are we all doing today? I'm going to give another feedback and overview of the game. This one is very short. It's only a minute and 50 seconds, so we're going to be kind of very detailed on a few things. The MMR rating at the time of this game, if I recall correctly, was around 3K, 2.5K in that area. So mid-plat to diamond. So I'm going to kind of put some numbers and stuff up on the screen or on the title. But I'm doing it off the top of my head. You can see that there's some information here. I usually throw it here. This is an older game from actually several years ago. It was posted on the Zerg playlist. I wanted to kind of make it so that people don't have to pull up the archives and go through it. But we'll jump right on in. Because it is older, it's going to have to jump into the older view of how the game functions. So you'll see it like do a little bit of lag, a little bit of changeover while we switch to the previous version of the game. This is expected. That's why I'm talking through all of this. And I've been given the feedback to try and talk to Mike. So you'll see me kind of looking a little bit over here and there. I'm going to go ahead and give us about the first 4 or 5 seconds in. This is a Zerg player, and our opponent is a Protoss player. It is Asone and JamesTKirk. What a great name. All right. So both players open up with a worker. You can see it's a very, very, very fast game. Only a couple minutes. Again, a little bit older. So we're going to see some things that might be a little bit different than what we expect or what historically is done. In this instance, what we're doing as a Zerg is we're opening up with an Overlord into a drone, which is perfectly fine. This is normal. This drone will go mine, and then you'll get 2 more drones, and those 2 drones, one of them, you can go get your more income, and then the next workers from there, one will go to your gas, and then one will go to a spawning pool. Alternatively, you can go grab a early hatch. This is also standard, totally normal. This is a 16 hatch. Again, classic build, not necessarily perfect. We're gonna go ahead and pause here. Remember that this game went really fast, so I don't want to go too far into what's going on. We have a probe at the base. We have an overlord coming around to scout. Generally speaking, you can place the Overlord roughly here. Obviously, this map is a little bit older, so we're going to be looking at things a little bit differently from the perspective of each map. Basically, for a cannon rush or to protect yourself, and you can see a forge going down, so it gives you a hint on what we're going to be looking at. No, I haven't watched this replay yet. This Overlord's going to be placing itself in a way over the hatchery that you're going to be able to see every place that a pylon can go. That is going to make it so that it can place a cannon to hit you. In this map, there's a little bit of extra space down here if your Overlord's on top. And so you got to be aware of that. And then obviously your Overlord's pathing is going to kind of give you this nice little view here. And Captain JamesTKirk, for those of you that know, there you go. He's also going to be checking over in this space here. I would imagine he's been hit a few times with cannon rushes. On the other side, we have our Protoss, who has placed a normal pylon and a forge. And their worker is doing their normal thing, grabbing some minerals, going back home. You want to cut workers at 16 in order to make it so that you can get out a cannon and pylon basically as fast as possible, and a second cannon really fast, so you can create some nice little walls, little choke points and things to make it very difficult for your opponent if they don't see the pylon. You don't need to cut. I like to cut personally because it means I got a lot more money, and then I'll get the natural pretty quickly. And from there, you can do some stuff. I don't normally cannon rush, so I'm not a pro on it, so don't quote me on any of those things. But you see the probe is kind of skirting around trying to find stuff. This position is absolutely horrible unless you are trapping a worker here. So if you're playing against a Terran, you can trap a couple of workers in here. Sometimes you can get 3, which is crazy. And that's really, really painful. You can't do it against Zerg because obviously they have their mineral patches. And if you're playing with high enough skilled players, they're going to rally their units to the closer mineral patches. And you can see in these positions, you can see these 2 workers are going to the closer mineral patch. And these 2 workers are going to the closer mineral patch, while these 2 are the longer mineral patch. Over here, you can see it's more efficient as well. You have the long mineral patch with 1 and the shorter mineral path with 2. I'm not suggesting that you try and micro your workers. It's a lot of work to do that. But if you're going to be doing some cheeses, you're going to be wanting to make sure that you can kind of get that extra little boost in income, that extra, 20 or 30 minerals that you get over the course of the first minute or so of the game can be very impactful for what's going on. The reason that this is a terrible placement is one, even if the Overlord wasn't here, this hatchery could see it. Two, this Overlord could see it. It's right there. Talked about throwing it down here, making it really way out of the way. Notes: to beat a cannon rush, you need 3 workers per pylon and 2 workers per probe to make it so that they can't ever get it up. If you want them to overinvest, the number is the same for the cannon. It's 3 workers for it and 2 for every probe. You need to make sure that you get them out before they're able to do anything with it. And you need to make sure that you're getting yourself ready for the follow-up. So getting your spawning pole, getting your gas, making sure that you don't get yourself in a situation where you're going to lose that location, essentially. You can see that he used 4. So with these 4 workers, he was able to kill it super fast. The downside is you're not making them make a choice, and you're not letting it get all the way up, and then think, oh, I'm going to get a couple of. So the cannon rush is completely stopped. As a Protoss, you're in a lot of trouble. You need to put up a gate and continue to build up. And apparently that's the game. So the worker count pull was all it took to stop this player from the Protoss. I actually expected this to be a Ravager game. They were saying to stop cannon rushes, you need Ravagers, and apparently we didn't even get to that point. So back to kind of what we were talking about. If you get to the point where they actually get some cannons down, you can always cancel this hatchery. It's going to be painful, but you just take another location. Send a few workers down there to make sure that the cannons don't get up. I would choose somewhere really far away, not super far away, but like a base where they can't just put cannons on the high ground and shoot down on your minerals, or put your cannons on the high ground and shoot down on your mineral lines. That's why I would suggest over here. On this map in particular, the thought process behind it is why we're talking about that. This is way too many workers that are pulled. Obviously, you need only 6 at this point, 9 total earlier, and we have 11. Remember, each row is 8, so 8, 16. That's what a medevac carries. That's what a War Prison carries. That's an Overlord, Dropper Lords carry. So he has too many workers down here. I get it. He saw a cannon and 2 pylons and a probe. Where's the second probe? That's the other piece, right? As a Protoss, if you're in a cannon rush, you need to send another probe across. That's the game. I actually thought we were going to get to some Ravagers, but basically you need to get your gases up, get a Roach down, Roach horn down, try and put it someplace where the cannons can never get to it, somewhere back here, and that way you can bile down whatever they're doing with their pylons and cannons. 3 Ravagers will basically one-shot a pylon or a cannon, if I remember correctly. I might be off, it might be 4. Fairly certain it's 3 though. If you're a Terran, getting a tank out is all you need. And if you're a Protoss, Immortals is your path to have the absolute power. The next best option is to get 5 Stalkers. They should be able to kill it before you lose shield. You get back your shield battery and then you're good to go. But you can see how powerful just pulling your workers is. This game is by no means over. The Protoss is definitely behind, and I just think that they are overreaching their skill level, which is why they decided to just quit out. And if you're playing somebody that is a superior MMR because you've been cheesing a lot to get yourself to a higher MMR, leaving early on when you're behind, perfectly okay. I personally prefer to be practicing in my follow-ups. So if I was the player of this game, as a Zerg, I might continue to play so I can get those. I can continue to manage myself, get those Roaches and Ravagers up. Maybe even go for the 3rd. If I was the Protoss, it's time to put up your gate. Next eye, start trying to get yourself in a position where you can actually come back. The spawning pool, he didn't even check for the spawning pool. He doesn't know when these lings are coming, if they're ever coming. So he's kind of thrown in the towel very, very early, especially since the Zerg here has kind of thrown away a lot of resources. One of the things that I think I've forgotten to do quite a bit is take a look at the losses, and there you go. Not a lot more to talk about here, but good game, obviously. I wish I'd checked it beforehand. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. Thanks for watching.